Hello YouTube viewers and everyone else. I was looking forward to a strong debut, but this time it's a bit disappointing. I thought it would be easy to guess, but I'm surprised that everyone found it so difficult. The correct answer appeared a lot in the comments. It's actually something that Wu Chenggu owns, but I thought it would be hard to guess. In terms of performance, 98 is slightly better, but Chris is better at handling the combo. But still, it's a character that has been optimized as much as possible for the so-called just do it playstyle. Let's get to know the character Chris, who has become stronger. In the original game, he was called Chokeless, not Gaksung. To unlock this character, you need to enter a hidden command. Defeat Choryona in the secret stage. This theory is irrelevant. If Choryona is defeated, please enter a new command again. I usually start by positioning myself in the back so I don't get hit. I unlocked this and got 101, so I don't know if these new ones are included. In Chris's case, only the smugglers and the people at the long-range counter smile at him. The biggest advantage is that you can interact with top-tier characters and travel long distances. The small shop is available, but only in Korean, which may be inconvenient for some users. It's possible with cancel, but why did you say it's lacking as a combo term? Chris has the same motion as the original in Close A, but since he doesn't have a standard character, it's hard to pull it off. It's not too difficult once you get used to it, but as a default game without crouching, there are many strong elements from the start. It looks ordinary, but it's a long-range normal with quite high performance. The attack judgment comes out before the visual effect, so it seems like the effect comes out first, but the move itself is slow, so the risk and recovery are both weaknesses. The reach itself is shorter than Chris, so it's at a disadvantage in long-range battles. However, since the attack judgment comes out at the same frame, in practice, Chris and Kyo's performance is almost the same. If you have to use a basic move for zoning, Close B is available. The reason is that this move can be blocked even if the opponent is crouching. Also, when you move from standing B to crouching B, the combo looks pretty cool. Additionally, even the smallest characters can be hit by the final part of the move, so you can continue the combo like this, but it's actually just for show. The reason is that after crouching, the finishing move doesn't activate due to the proximity. If you miss the risk, even if you're right next to them, the proximity move won't come out. This is the proximity input that we used to use a lot. In fact, if there are no other basic moves, the whip is a basic move, but since there is long range C and close range D, the merit is a bit diminished. Close C looks like you're just swinging your fist, but it's actually really good for stuffing the opponent's quick moves right in front of you. It's a bit lacking when used alone, but if you connect it with a special move, the follow-up can be tricky. However, currently the follow-up doesn't connect well. Anyway, in practice, it's worse than the usual route, but it's still not recommended. When used as intended, it's a high-performance original combo route. The downside is that it's slow, and the core of the original combo route is that it's a one-shot kill combo. When the elbow hits, the opponent doesn't get knocked back, so you have to follow up with all 2 hits until the end to knock them back. And you can also cancel in the middle of the first hit motion. Personally, I think Chris has the most cancel timing among all basic moves. Because the opponent doesn't get knocked back, you can safely connect combos in that situation. Normally, from a field, you can easily connect to a special move or even a crouching attack. If the distance is right, even if it's not a corner, you can safely connect a crouching combo after a jump attack. If you want to keep your distance after a jump attack, it's good to use a long-range C to push them away. In Ukyo's case, it's usually a mid-range special move, but here, it's a long-range D. Even if this is a mid-range overhead, it would have been great if it knocked down, but it doesn't cause a knockdown or any special effect. And it's not even cancelable, so it's hard to use anywhere. The animation of the motion. The movement itself is the fastest among Chris's basic moves, being a fast crouching D. Crouching D is basically an upward sweep of crouching C, and the right Chris can hit C at the same time. Also, the startup of crouching C is slower than D. Attempting to jump in and attack can sometimes lead to getting punished. While close C can't reach, D can even hit opponents who are crouching low. And of course, since it's a projectile, there's even less reason to use close C. This is Anja A, who gives Chris Kwanbo a sense of pressure. By watching the hitbox, you can clearly see how strong the attack judgment is. So moves like close A or close B are used right in front of the opponent. Despite lacking a command throw, he can still link his special moves. What this means is that Billy Demiji's combo is possible. However, the core of the combo is not B. The damage is slightly reduced, but you can't finish with a super move. Still, you can finish with a basic jump-in combo, so that's the level you can expect. You can connect it, but if you drop the combo, you can't land A, so it's meaningless. That's it. However, in this case, Ba is a special move that doesn't use the basic attack. When using a special move to prevent the opponent from reacting, you need to keep holding B until you input the special move after the B hit. You need to hold B when inputting the special command, but you can get used to this with just a little practice. The basic technique against the one-button attack is to press C. The advantage is that it moves quickly, but its judgment isn't that great. The move itself shares the same frame as crouching D. Even if you react to the opponent's jump, it's often ineffective. It's good for dealing with special cases and performing counterattacks. If you use it while maintaining your distance, you can easily connect combos. If you use commands like the one below, you can use them without much risk. Even if you use this command, if the attack doesn't land, you can confidently say it's 100% your own mistake. If you want to maximize your damage a little more, you can safely use this without any problems. The mindset that you'll be able to dodge it directly like this is actually a worse start than just blocking. Swinging your fist doesn't guarantee you'll hit the target. You can't block it with just a standard defense. The movement is excellent, but if the palm is in front of the armpit rather than below the chest, it means you can't block the attack. Even so, when facing Daijin Paul, if Chris is a small character, Chris can handle the air battle more stably. He can't catch all the characters with special movement. This is as close as you can get to a real anti-air, a jump A that can actually save your life. You can use it to quickly get out of the air-to-air battle in mid-air, but as a reversal, it's a complete gamble in itself. Even if you have a standard character, you absolutely can't use it. That's why Chris mainly uses jump B. You can block the move to avoid getting hit, but the attack's recovery is short. You can also hit the opponent with a crouching character using jump A, but if they slightly delay their guard, you won't be able to land the hit. The reason I said it's his main move is because Chris's unique air guard is possible with his basic moves. But in 98 jump D, it's not easy to get a cross up, and personally, it's hard to pull off successfully. If you look at the original jump, you have to get a cross up for it to hit. Jumping is difficult unless you're a true master of the skill. Russia's Iori's palm strike is a jump C with excellent performance. Even if the opponent blocks and counters, you can safely land. And because the hitbox is so good, it beats most of the opponent's basic moves and attacks. However, this move is not effective against Chris, but if you use a good anti-air, it still works. That doesn't mean you can just use it recklessly. When it comes to jump attacks, it's easy to gain the advantage against opponents with weak anti-air abilities. So while his jump D is good, his actual reach isn't as good as it looks, so you have to be a bit more careful. However, since the reach difference isn't that significant, if you just want to jump in and hit, jump C is more useful because of its better hitbox. In 9-7, Jump D's front hitbox is nearly non-existent. That's how the move works. This is a jump that is well known for its pressure with Akbak Yang. This move can connect with your opponent unless they're at the very edge. If Panjong is even a little careless. Even if you just block with your guard, you won't take any damage, and you can even try to counter with a sweep at the end of the animation. Even if you can't, just by blocking like this, you can easily deal with Goro and Biggie. When I first saw him, I thought he looked really cool. In reality, it's just used as a regular projectile. It's mostly used for harassment. The range and accuracy are extremely limited. You can block enemy projectiles by crouching and guarding. The projectile and uppercut were activated simultaneously, but the uppercut missed. The downside is that even though it becomes a cancel move, you can't combo with it. If you manage to land the hit, the opponent will be in a very tough situation. There may be more moves that cannot be linked. Kakaradong's Omen is truly the best buff. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but as long as you succeed, the game ends in one shot. I couldn't find the conditions to get out during the match. Chris's combo is a close range move. It's actually an invincible move, but if the opponent knows the timing of this move, it can be punished. Until the fireball comes out completely, there is no attack judgment, and since it's a close range move, it's easier to get punished by a guard than to hit the opponent. After using this special move, you could either use a basic attack or throw a command grab, or you could use various routes to keep pressuring your opponent. And even if your opponent doesn't fall for the mix-up after blocking this move, if you keep using it, the risk of getting punished increases, so it's a technique that should be used carefully. Anja Shai's drill is louder than Dooley's. Careless use significantly increases the risk of punishment. There is nothing else. After the hitbox disappears, the attack hitbox comes out, so if you use it just before the hitbox disappears, you can perform a counterattack. But honestly, compared to Leori's anti-air, it looks weaker, so I rarely use it. This is Chris's main command grab. You could say that this technique is better than Chris's in 98. That's because the real stars are passed on to other constellations as comets. The only drawback is that at the end of the command, if you input A or C, it can sometimes come out as a regular attack by mistake. So there is a risk, but here the pros outweigh the cons. However, the biggest advantage is that you can keep your positioning. Even in a small attack, you can follow up with a combo. This is a counter that counters the opponent's counter and has similar abilities to a guard. If you use it as a melee, the A version can't hit more than C, but if you use it with A, the attack judgment comes out faster and the recovery is also quicker than C. In most combos, use version A for timely attack judgment. Version C has delayed attack judgment, allowing the opponent to guard safely. For comparison, I used both the A and C versions at the same time from up close. As the motion gets closer, the A version attacks first. For reference, compared to the displayed attack range, the actual hit is a bit earlier. Additionally, there is an invincibility judgment on the upper body during the motion. So, the so-called grab is not a command grab, and like Machangaji, the range of the taunt's grab cannot be extended with a sweep. If you use it solely for evasion, it can be quite effective as a countermeasure. However, projectiles vary, and this attack judgment is too vague, making it difficult to counter. Characters like Kurara and similar types can be defeated with just one hit. It was used in the original, but here, it's truly the best technique. You can clearly see the damage on the guard, which proves that the opponent has no energy left. When you're this close, it's even more noticeable. Using it this way lets you connect it with a combo. The bold damage is huge. If you use it with C at the same time, you can't catch the opponent right away. The advantage of this skill is that you can add an extra hit after a crouch. Usually, counterattacks are more effective as a basic technique. However, in max mode, counterattacks are not unconditional, so caution is advised. A really well-made character can be clearly distinguished by their proper combos, not just by their looks. I can't say anything. Even without using the command grab, you can still finish off your opponent. You just need to succeed with a difficult reversal attack.